Picture a beautiful golden sunrise over the vast Arabian desert. Long before the massive empires rose and fell in this region, a legendary figure emerged right from these very sands. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to dive into the incredible life of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, famously known as the Archer of Islam.
A single, lone bow resting in the desert. It really is the perfect symbol for our subject today. A warrior of faith whose arrows literally never missed their mark. Born into the highly respected Banu Zuhra clan of the Quraysh in Makkah, young Sa'd was famous far and wide way before Islam even arrived. He wasn't just physically strong. People in the bustling local markets, they deeply admired his intense discipline, his absolute honesty, and of course, his extraordinary skill with a bow.
Section 1. Early Faith and Trials. So at just 17 years old, Sa'd makes a pivotal decision. He becomes one of the very first people to accept Islam, meeting in secret with the Prophet Muhammad. He recognized the truth without any hesitation, joining this very small, vulnerable group of early believers, fully knowing the severe dangers and pushback that lay ahead.
And man, those dangers hit closer to home than he probably ever imagined. Because Sa'd's greatest trial, it didn't come from a fierce battlefield, it came from his own family. His mother swore she wouldn't eat or drink a single thing until he abandoned his new faith. She hit him with a devastating life-or-death ultimatum. Leave this religion or I will die.
Faced with that kind of intense pressure, his mother literally refusing food and water, you might think a young man would cave, right? But Sa'd's resolve was absolutely unshakable. He set this beautifully firm boundary. He told her that even if she had 100 lives and they left her one by one, he would never leave Islam. But here's the key. He maintained profound respect and kindness toward her while saying it. His words were firm. Faith came first, absolutely, but without ever sacrificing his duty to treat his parents with kindness.
Section 2. Defender of the Prophet. Now, as we shift over to the battlefield, Sa'd's lifelong discipline truly takes center stage. During the incredibly fierce, chaotic Battle of Uhud, he became one of Islam's absolute greatest defenders. Every single arrow he fired carried faith before force. He had trained so tirelessly, and by combining that sheer mastery with total trust in Allah, his precision became legendary. Fellow soldiers actually marveled that no one, literally no one, could shoot quite like Sa'd.
In fact, the Prophet Muhammad relied heavily on Sa'd's protective arrows when the fighting was at its absolute fiercest. He called out to him, "Shoot, Sa'd! May my father and mother be sacrificed for you." Now let's just pause on that for a second. That is incredibly significant for us to understand. It was among the absolute highest praises the Prophet ever bestowed upon any companion.
Section 3. The Climax. Battle of Al-Qadisiyah. Fast forward a few years, and Caliph Umar appoints Sa'd to a massive, monumental task, leading the Muslim army against the formidable Sassanid Persian Empire.
But here's the crazy part. How does a man lead an entire army against an empire when he can't even stand up? When these massive armies faced off across the plains, Sa'd was suffering from a severe illness. I mean, intense physical pain. He was essentially physically incapacitated. But he absolutely refused to just abandon his responsibility to his troops. So rather than stepping down, Sa'd executes this absolute masterclass in strategic military maneuvers. Unable to ride a horse, he positions himself at a high vantage point overlooking the plains of Al-Qadisiyah. And from up there, he uses this highly sophisticated system of messengers to relay precise, real-time commands. He literally turned his physical limitation into a massive tactical advantage, which allowed him to completely outmaneuver the Persian forces.
And against totally overwhelming odds, Sa'd's leadership secured a decisive victory. But let's look at the historical impact here. Because the fall of the Persian banners at Al-Qadisiyah didn't just win a battle. It permanently opened the road right into the heart of the Sassanid Empire. This was a monumental pivot point. It literally reshaped the geopolitical map of the world forever.
Section 4. Post-war Legacy. Founding Kufa. Because you see, Sa'd's story definitely does not end on the battlefield. His civic contributions in peacetime were just as enduring as his military conquests.
We really see an incredible evolution here. Think about it. From the master archer protecting the Prophet at Uhud in his early years, to the strategic mastermind at Al-Qadisiyah years later, and finally transitioning into a city builder in his later years. Founding the city of Kufa, he oversaw workers building homes, roads, and a grand mosque. He essentially established Kufa as this major enduring center of learning, justice, and worship that would go on to profoundly influence generations to come.
And through it all, his governance was defined by profound humility.
Just think about modern leadership for a second. It's so easy for power to corrupt, right? But despite his historic victories and having the massive wealth of newly opened lands right at his fingertips, Saad remained incredibly humble. He was known for simply walking among ordinary people, no guards, no entourage. Wealth never changed him, power never corrupted him. He always remembered that true success belonged only to Allah.
Section 5. The Final Days, a Simple Request. After a long lifetime of just unparalleled service, an elderly Saad, still holding on to his old bow, looked toward the horizon, preparing to meet his Lord. And you really have to notice the profound humility of his dying wish here. Instead of asking to be wrapped up in these lavish robes fitting for a conqueror or a governor, he asked to be buried in a simple, worn garment. He held it up and said, "This is the cloth in which I fought for the sake of Allah." It was the exact same garment he had worn in one of his earliest battles for Islam. Just a really beautiful full-circle moment, proving that his heart never left its original, pure devotion.
Saad ibn Abi Waqqas was so much more than just a warrior. True success belongs to those who trust Allah, remain steadfast, and uphold justice. His faith was always stronger than his fear, and his humility was always greater than his victories, leaving a legacy that still inspires hearts today. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this to think about. When you look at your own life and the unique challenges you face, how can you apply Saad's steadfastness and humility to build a legacy that truly matters?